Stan, here we are. Bit of a different one today. I went into Darlington yesterday and I picked up some bits from there, and I found a really good charity shop, book charity shop, just books, and the prices were fantastic. I got 3 books for £3. I'll show you this one. It's this one here in front of us. One of these sort of generic, generic D-Day books, which I don't mind for a bit of a flick. And I felt cheeky actually taking this. He said 3 books for for £2. Yeah, it was £2 for 3. This is one of those Imperial War Museum books with all the replica bits in. I'll do a video on them another time. But this one was just laid at the bottom of the pile, and I thought, oh, The Torch is Past. What's that about? So what it is, it's a tribute memorial book to John F. Kennedy. So we'll have a little look. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to read it. I'll just flick through a few bits to see. Now, I've seen them advertised on eBay. I had a quick look. I think this is how it came originally. No dust cover. And it really has that old book smell, which I always like. Obviously, John F. Kennedy was killed in November 1963. So The Torch is Past. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch is being passed to a new generation of Americans, born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace, proud of our ancient heritage. John F. Kennedy, inaugural address, 20th of January 1961. I was chatting to one of the guys I'm in touch with on YouTube, on email, and he was saying that the Kennedy years were known as the Camelot years. I don't think I've heard of that, but a time of hope, I suppose, and newness. He was obviously a young president. I don't know if he was the youngest one. The analogy was made a bit like when Tony Blair came to power in Britain in 1997. Whatever you think of him as a prime minister, I'm not going to get into a political thing, but I was there at the time. I voted Labour in 97. There was a feeling of a new start because the Tories have been in power for a long time. So anyway, we'll get on with this. There's Jackie Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, and it's showing you photographs that you may or may not have seen before of the Kennedys, obviously in Texas, going about the business. Now, bear in mind, look at the clothes she's got on. Clothes she got, so now they're in the motorcade, and they're heading towards Destiny, I suppose. Not Destiny, Fate. There's again a shot that we're all sort of familiar with. I mean, I'm not really invested in American history. I don't know as much about it as maybe some people do, but obviously JFK, John F. Kennedy, being assassinated is a big thing, and I think most people know about that. So there's the motorcade passing the suppository, and that's the suppository in the background. And I believe in this photograph it does say that you can see John F. Kennedy's hand there shooting across to his throat. You can see it. Obviously the president's being shot there. He's slumped. I think that's his foot sticking out. And you can see the security staff armed with M16s, it looks like. Now, this is the one that got me. Again, these pictures have probably been and seen myself a number of times, but never in like all in one context. She's got the same clothes on, obviously. She put that dress on, that outfit on in the morning. She didn't realise by the time she'd taken it off, I suppose her whole world and the world of the United States had been tipped up on its end. And I did read this little bit here, and the situation was, briefly, if I get it wrong, please someone correct me, but the Air Force One, the presidential airplane, was on the tarmac at the airport, as was the vice president's plane, Lyndon Johnson. And they put the casket of JFK on board the presidential plane, and he'd already gone to Air Force One as quick as he could, and they didn't know that he was there. And he came from the president's personal room on the plane, and they were quite shocked because literally, I suppose they didn't realise it was all going to happen. He had to be sworn in, and that's why she stood there. He was getting sworn. They waited for his wife apparently to come for some reason, but you can see that she's like obviously in a state of shock, and you know her husband's job's over. You know, not only is he dead, he is not the president anymore. Obviously, it's got a. They went to DEFCON 1, which is the highest state of alert in America at the time, and there was a situation that they were getting news information coming through the ticker tape, and I think his name was Orville Freeman, and he was part of Kennedy's staff, and he'd said that the president's been shot in the head. They weren't sure if he died or not at the time, and Orville Freeman had been shot in the face by a Japanese sniper in World War II, and he obviously survived, so that he was thinking, oh, he might be all right, but obviously not what happened. She's still got blood on her clothing from the incident, and there's the casket in. And old presidents coming, Harry F. Truman, Eisenhower. So I haven't read it, but I will. I'll give it a go. And it is a very dramatic thing to look at, I suppose, because it's all, you can read it all on the internet, but having something in my hand that's, I don't think these are rare or anything. You can find them. I did a quick look on eBay, but for someone like myself, this happened before I was born. A time of great change, the 1960s, throughout the Western world. And again, I think is that young John Kennedy. I believe he died in an aircraft accident, didn't he? I can't remember. The president's funeral cortege. Is it cortege? And then obviously the Americans went into Vietnam, or if they were already halfway, it was ramping up, wasn't it, by the time he died. And there's a picture of him, striking looking fella, I suppose. He himself had seen action in World War II in PT boats, I believe. I think he was involved in an incident that wasn't he wrecked at sea, stranded at sea for I can't remember the exact situation. Grave there, and Jackie Kennedy obviously distraught. Well, considering I did pay less than like 70 pence for this. It's just quite an interesting thing to get. I'll keep this. I will read it. I'll keep it. Showing you the grief of people. It must have been, even if you are not a supporter, or you weren't a supporter of John F. Kennedy, when you get a leader assassinated like that, that's a time of great stress for the country. Say they went to DEFCON 1, there was fears of sort of insurgency. Everyone was on high alert. And this is Lee Harvey Oswald, the killer of John F. Kennedy, being shot by Jack Ruby as he comes out of the police station. I mean, there's a film, JFK. If you haven't seen that, there's obviously a lot of conspiracy theories as to who killed JFK. Was it Lee Harvey Oswald, etc., etc., etc.? I'm not going to go into that here so much. Suppose the conspiracy theorists do say, this guy's walking out here, he's right in front of the killer. But I mean, maybe policing practices were different in those days. If anyone is in law enforcement, feel free to tell me otherwise. But it made as far as this book and this video is concerned, he killed him, and he just killed him because he was a fan of JFK. I mean, I think, is not President Trump going to release some files soon, I think, which would be interesting to see. But I mean, this is just obviously a memorial token to John F. Kennedy. Capitol building, that's the Capitol building, isn't it, I think. And there she is again, and the The boots reversed in the horse's saddle, in the stirrups. And I think that's King Haile Selassie. Selassie, I believe. And President de Gaulle. Some very striking photographs. Eisenhower again with Truman. And she went on to marry Aristotle Onassis, the shipping magnate. And of course, the Kennedy family were marred by other tragedies. Bobby Kennedy was assassinated in 1969, 67, 69, something like that, I believe. And that's Teddy Kennedy. One of them was involved in I don't know which one it was, the death of a young woman in Chappaquiddick, a car accident. Haile Selassie, I think, and de Gaulle. I don't know who the British Prime Minister there. 1963. Can't remember. I would have embarrassed myself and have a guess. It wasn't Macmillan, was it? I think he was a bit before that time. Did I say president? British Prime Minister. I didn't say president. Can't remember. It's an age thing. So there you go. The coffin going to rest. And the heads of nations there paying their respects. I mean, in saying they went to DEFCON 3, apparently they were revving the nuclear missile silos up as well. You know, such was the state of the nation. So that's about it. Hope you enjoyed looking through that. And there's Lyndon B. Johnson addressing the White House, is it, or the Senate, whatever it's called. And that's it. Yeah, so like three books for £2, and one that, you know, I probably, in the general run of things, I wouldn't bother getting a book on JFK. And, you know, I think it's one of those things. Would you watch a documentary? I've seen it all before, I know it all, don't you? But you don't, do you? So yeah, a bit of a serious one from Stan. So yeah, that's it, and I will see you later.